Oh, and yeah, that's it. I'm back. I am back. Okay, I know I missed all of last week. Oh, my wife went out of town to visit her family. So I figured, all right, I'm going to have a nice, relaxing week. I'm going to be able to knock out a bunch of stuff while she's gone because I won't have her home basically to interrupt me or have me doing other things. I can do things on my wish list. Oh, real life had other things in mind for me. And I spent most of the week wishing that I had my wife home. Good morning, Digi. How you doing today? Yeah, you're right. I was going to try to have a nice, relaxing week. That did not work out. So I did make it to all my appointments, and I am very low on adult beverages of choice. So I will have to payday go and get some more adult beverages because I did attempt to consume some this week to assist. But anyway, last week though was a pretty big week. A lot of stuff happening, and I'm going to try to play catch up with some of it. But I'm going to spend some time talking about old Chuckie Schumer and some stuff that he did. Yeah, did you? I did hear about that. And that is something I was probably thinking about talking about tomorrow's stream, uh, which may be a little late depending because I've got a 7 o'clock in the morning doctor's appointment, but that should knock out pretty quick. So I should be able to be back in time for that. I just won't have nice graphics for a thumbnail. But yeah, I've got I downloaded the pictures and the drawings and such, and this is going. I'm hoping that it's not like that ground penetrating radar isn't being misread like it's been misread in the past. Yeah, just getting in Atlantis in the middle of the desert. Even though, Egypt wasn't always a desert. So this is that and then, trying to convince the Egyptian government to allow any kind of excavations or in-person investigation into what's going on there. I mean, that's going to take a decades-long project to do that. To do any kind of serious investigation, that's going to take decades. Simply digging down, what is it, like 4,000 feet? Uh, in that sand, I mean, that's going to be a major project in and of itself. Because you're not going to just dig straight. I would think you wouldn't dig just straight down because that would risk toppling, undermining the uh, pyramid itself. So you'd have to start off a half mile or so away from the pyramids and going in at it at an angle. Um, to get to where you're not undermining the land above you. Um, that's the Elon Musk type funding that's going to take to do that. So, oh, for the history of the pyramids, um, the I know it's so easy to jump to the aliens did it. A lot of people, this, saying that this is definite sign of alien interaction. And as much as even though I am a Christian, all right, I do not put it past God to have created life on other planets. That's not outside of the realm of possibility. And for alien life to have advanced enough to come here to this planet centuries ago. Oh yeah, that's it. Digi, you're absolutely right there. Um, the Egyptian government, because it might cause issues, you'd have to show that you're coming in at an angle from a great distance to where you're not undermining the pyramids themselves. Yeah, that's going to be a major undertaking. And the Egyptian government, if you want to say it's for good reason or not, because a lot of Egyptian artifacts were stolen during the 18th and 19th and even 20th centuries. Um, found its way into collections, both public and private, around the world. They're the Egyptian government's now, trying to be extremely protective of anything and everything of their artifacts, and I don't blame them. But to allow the investigation of what this has shown, these underground radar things, there'd have to be a lot more of that to go on before Egypt would even consider allowing any type of hands-on investigation. Would they probably require almost a Star Trek level technology, to scan beneath the surface before they'd allow anything like that. So, I mean, it's interesting. It opens up the minds to a lot of different possibilities. Like I said, everything from misreading the scopes, the information that's coming back, to ancient aliens contacted us and did it all. So, uh, the shifting the sands, some people, well, I've even heard some people mention that, well, that stuff wasn't buried 4,000 feet when they built it, but the sands have covered it up and this stuff was built up from there. Who knows? I'm not at this point. I'm just sitting back wondering, looking at more information, and I trust nobody who claims to be an expert to be right. I mean, we've look at our experts in just the past 8 years, what experts have told us have turned out to be wrong. Uh, and besides that, the always reminds me of the Air Force definition of an expert: a has-been drip. You're an expert. So that come we had people that would work on the flight line, then they get promoted up into other jobs, and they'd be off the line out of the actual hands-on maintenance for a few years, but they would still consider themselves experts when things had changed while they were gone. And while they may have known about the change, it didn't really register with them what the changes were. So, but somebody's got, it's like, yeah, you're up there being proclaiming yourself to be an expert when how long has it been since you touched an airframe? But anyway, that's old war stories. I got in trouble. I was heading up a panel on the issue, and a guy that I knew I'd worked with when he was on the line, but he'd been off the line for about 4 or 5 years. And he come down and he was going to regale us with his expertise on the system. And he started talking about stuff. It's like, hey, I hate to tell you this, but that's no longer an issue. That got corrected a year ago or 2 years ago. Really? Yeah, that issue, that problem no longer exists except in older airframes which had not been retrofitted yet. Anyway, yeah, I got a little bit of trouble for that. Telling somebody he'd been off the line too long, didn't know what he was talking about. But I mean, that's what it is. But anyway, the Democrats, they are really, really, really pissed off because Trump has moved so hard and so fast in getting his agenda done, that items that I fully agree with. Now, there's been some things he's made mistakes. He, especially Doge, they've made mistakes. Some pretty embarrassing ones. But when you're trying to change the direction of a behemoth like our government, the size of our government, well, some things are, sometimes you make a mistake. Problems happen, you know. Uh, and all you can do is own up to it and say, I made this mistake and go back. It's like having to rehire a bunch of people that they let go. They made a mistake there in a couple of areas to where if I think they've learned from those mistakes and they're not firing people or letting people go as fast as fast as they were. Which, I mean, it's like I tell people that I work with when I'm trying to explain to them how I'm going around finding errors. We all make mistakes, but all we can do is learn from them and try to correct them. I had one of them say, "Well, you don't seem to make any mistakes." I said, "That's only because I know what mistakes I'm liable to make, and I go back and I double check and triple check them before you guys ever have a chance to see them." And they all laughed at that. I said, "Yeah, I never trust what I do the first time around. I always go back and double check everything that I've done, just to make certain that and I'll catch these mistakes." So it's just when Elon and Doge and the Trump people make mistakes, it makes major headline news and so on and so forth. But it's gotten to the point to where it's like things are going on like this. Wait a minute here. I got to. This is a video of a typical Republican uh, town hall gathering in their hometown, to where they're to talk with their constituents like these elected officials are supposed to. Well, the Democrats, the liberals, they're doing this kind of nonsense.
Don't need all that money. They do not need. They can just buy dog food. They can just buy all the dog food. Let's just buy dog food. Let's just buy dog. Thanks for all of you funding everything.
Yeah.
That's assault. You can't do that.
As you can see, these guys have invaded.
Do not touch my camera. Do not touch my camera.
The sign reads Elon's puppet. These guys are absolutely, now if this had been a bunch of Republicans doing this, it would have been on the news about how disruptive and mean and horrible these guys are for doing this to a Democrat. And
Thank you everyone here for supporting President Musk. And the corporate oligarchy, you've done a great job. You're all true patriots.
Yep, these guys are just absolutely nuts. But these are all liberals. So, they did get escorted out finally. So, yeah, you're right, did you? If that had been, McCain that they were protesting, then, the media may have said something bad about the protesters. Oh. I'm having to drink turmeric and ginger tea. Here, I've been having to drink that for the past couple of days. My doctor actually prescribed it or recommended that I drink it. So, and I'm not mad at it. I mean, I keep turmeric and ginger tea around the house. But when the doctor sits there and tells you to drink it, that's another story. I keep it around because I like the taste of it, and it is good for your body, helps your digestion and such. But anyway, back to what's going on here. Here's a story. Okay, the story that goes with that video. Disruption at the Trump administration's cost-cutting efforts turned physical after protesters crashed an event in a red New York district. All right. Prompting a Republican lawmaker to raise concerns over Democratic efforts to organize protests in GOP districts. Protesters disrupted a private luncheon hosted by the Rockland Business Association on Thursday, targeting one of the speakers, Representative Mike Lawler of New York, over Republican efforts to cut federal spending. The video shows the protesters bought tickets to the event screaming "Lawless Lawler" while holding up a sign that read "Elon's puppet," an apparent reference to the cost-cutting efforts by DOJ. The disruption turned physical when protesters wrestled with the event and attendees who were trying to put an end to the disruption. Lawler's team responded to the protest, pointing at comments by Chuck Schumer, where he said Democrats were sending people to Republican districts to oppose their policies and make them face the consequences. Now, that's important, to think about right there. Okay. And what they're referring to is this. Okay, I just want to make sure that video was there. This is, as you can tell, our minority leader in the Senate, Chuckie Schumer. And he was on the PBS NewsHour the other day. This is what he said.
We are mobilizing in New York. We have people going to the Republican districts and going after these Republicans who are voting for this and forcing them to either change their vote or face the consequences.
Now listen to what he said here. Listen to what he said.
Forcing them to either change their vote or face the consequences.
Forcing them to change their vote. That's important that he said that.
This is a long, relentless fight that we fight every day. And I am confident that we will bring Trump's popularity, numbers, and strength down if we keep at it and keep at it and keep at it.
All right.
We are.
Now, I'm not getting rid of that video yet. Because Josh Hawley, one of my favorite senators, Senator Josh Hawley suggested that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer inadvertently revealed Democrats are behind the harassment of Republican members of Congress. That's not a suggestion. That's an actual fact that Schumer revealed that. Schumer came under fire for inciting violence after comments he made in a PBS interview on how Democrats plan to mobilize people in New York to influence Republican voters. Chuck Schumer said the quiet part out loud. They're sending people in these districts. Hawley told Fox News host Sean Hannity. All right. let's listen to what Schumer's got to say here.
Just say, listen, recognize these are AstroTurf folks. And Chuck Schumer said the quiet part out loud. They are sending people into these districts. Sean, let's face it, the Democrat Party these days, they're not really a political party anymore. They're just a theater troupe that is funded by George Soros. And that's what we're seeing. Theater actors who are showing up at these meetings, pretending to be constituents. We're not going to fall for it. We're going to deliver for the American people.
And just to go back to what Chuck said, all right. I mean, he has admitted right there in this 16 seconds, he admitted that they are sending people out to intimidate Republican lawmakers. Oh man, I'm sorry. Why didn't that change? Because I didn't do this. Boy, you can definitely tell I'm a professional at what I'm doing. Let's come back here again.
We are mobilizing in New York.
Okay, we are mobilizing in New York. We are mobilizing. It's not they are mobilizing, it's we are mobilizing. When you say we, that's including yourself.
We have people going to the Republican
We have people going to the Republican
districts and going after these Republicans who
and going after these Republicans. So we have people going to the Republican districts and going after the Republicans
were voting for this and forcing them to either change their vote or face the consequences.
And forcing them to change their vote. We are trying to intimidate Republican voters, Republican lawmakers to change their vote. That's what the man just said. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, there's a problem with this. All right, Cornell Law School. That's where I got these from. 18 U.S. Code 594, intimidation of voters. Whoever intimidates, threatens, coerces. Make sure I got that up there right. Yep. Or attempts to intimidate, threaten, or coerce, which is what Chuckie Schumer just said. They are intimidating, they are threatening, they are coercing any other person for the purpose of interfering with the right of such other person to vote or to vote as they may choose, or causing such other person to vote for or not vote for any candidate for the president, vice president, presidential elector, member of the Senate, member of the House of Representatives, delegate from the District of Columbia, or resident commissioner at any election solely or in part for the purpose of electing a candidate shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 1 year or both. Now, he said he's going out, there at the end, he said he's going after the voters. Get back to this.
Consequences. This is a long, relentless fight that we fight every day. And I am confident that we will bring Trump's popularity, numbers, and strength down if we keep at it and keep at it and keep at it.
So they are going after not only the lawmakers here, but they're going after the voters themselves. So they are attempting to intimidate the voters. shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 1 year or both. So by attempting to go after intimidating the voters into not voting for Lawler or any other Republican, that's a felony. Then there's this problem. All right, because remember, Chuck Schumer said we. Come back over here.
We are mobilizing in New York. We have people going to the Republican districts and going after these Republicans who.
We are mobilizing. We have people. That's not I. That's we. That's not they. That's we. And when you have we doing it, that means you have people conspiring, working together to do something. I'm just double checking to make sure I'm sharing the right page here. If two are, okay, this is 18 U.S. Code 241, conspiracy against rights. If two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or in the district, in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured by the Constitution or the laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same. Or if two or more persons go in disguise on the highway or on the premises of another with the intent to prevent or hinder their free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege. Now, you know, a lot of these Democrats, when they get out there and they're doing their protesting, they're still wearing masks. The surgical mask. So that's definitely going in disguise. They're out there wearing them surgical masks or bandanas around their face or whatever. So, excuse me, just had to drink some of that tea. My throat was starting to get it. They shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 10 years or both. Chuckie Schumer's up there saying, we are doing this. We are sending people out. We are mobilizing people. We are having them do these things. That's a conspiracy. They shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 10 years or both. And if death results from the acts committed in the violation of this section, or such acts include kidnapping or attempting to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life or both, or may be sentenced to death. The interesting thing is here, though, okay, kidnapping or attempt to kidnap. A lot of these people that they're sending out are college kids. Oh, hey, Wiley, good morning. How you doing today? Boy, been a little bit since I've seen you. Baby. Chuck Schumer's playing the Democrats and Chuck Schumer are now playing a dangerous game. Because they have freely admitted that they are intentionally sending people out to disrupt and with the intention to intimidate elected officials into changing their votes. Now, remember, back under the Dobbs decision, when all the people started protesting at the Supreme Court's homes, including especially Kavanaugh's, every one of them protesters, not under this law, but under another one that specifically protects the Supreme Court, every one of those protesters should have been arrested and charged with attempting to intimidate a Supreme Court justice. Every one of them. But under the Biden administration, they were told not to, and that they did not arrest a single person and charge them under that. Even though they were questioned why, especially after they pulled their stunts that they did to the people protesting on January 6th. But Chuck Schumer here has really made a mistake. Because I mean, I just can't play this all. I can't play this enough. You know, a thought just occurred to me. Hey, good morning, Data. You know, a thought just occurred to me. In other past governmental regimes, people who were out of power, who wanted to be in power, sent mobs to their political opponents in order to scare, intimidate, threaten the people, not only the political opponents, but those who were there showing support for them. And those people that were sending them out, that were mobilizing these other people, their people, sending them out to attack their political opponents. Once they did get into power, horrible things happened. Because they wanted to make certain that those tactics that they used to get in power would never be used against them. You ever try to go mad without power? It's ridiculous. No one listens to you. Schumer may eventually reap the whirlwind. Data, you know, Schumer, and it may be because of his age, may have inadvertently opened up his mouth and said those things without realizing it. You know, because of his age, he's so used to getting away with everything because he's been so high in the power structure for so many decades. And these are just major problems that they've come up that I'm hoping this turns into a major problem for the Democrats. Look at what's happened to all these universities. I mean, look what happened to Maine. The governor of Maine stood up to Trump in public over men being in women's sports. And Trump said, fine, we're just going to cut off all federal funding to Maine's universities and colleges. We're going to cut off funding to Maine schools because you're violating the law. Because as president, he signed an executive order. Now, I do not agree. I've said this time and time again. I do not agree with a lot of the power that, and basically since Obama, because Obama became the first one that I personally drew serious offense at with this a phone call and a stroke of the pen. I'm going to make this law, and it was his DACA issuance that finally threw me at it, because he admitted multiple times that he didn't have the authority to do what he did. Then he turned around and did it, and the spineless Republicans didn't challenge it in the courts. They should have challenged it. It should have been in front of the courts as soon before the ink was dry on that piece of paper. They should have had somebody handing over the paperwork to challenge it in the courts. But the spineless Republicans didn't do it. Trump has had more challenges in the 2 months that he's been president this term by the Democrats in the court system than Obama had in all 8 years. The Democrats will use the courts. They're not afraid to use the courts to get their way. Now, I am personally of the opinion that, yes, we do need checks and balances in the government. But there's something like 600 federal courts and judges in the country. Something like 600 of them. They're appointed. And as we know, I've showed enough videos of the Senate Judicial Committee questioning these judges. A lot of those judges have no right to be judges on the federal bench. Not a single one. Not a single one, but a lot of them don't. A lot of the ones that got pushed through under Biden have no place in the judiciary, at least on the federal bench. Maybe on a lower court. Maybe they were okay for lower courts, but they had no place on federal court. No, I've never even heard of that one, Data. Liberal hive mind. Yeah, I've never even heard of it. I'll check that out. But the Democrats know which judges to go to. And then this judge, for some reason, this one of 600 appointed judges for some reason, think that they've got the authority to tell the President of the United States what he can and can't do. Like the one that just overturned, tried to overturn Trump's no trans sexuals in the military. That was done by executive order. That wasn't anything voted on by the Congress. That was done by executive order. But this federal judge, it's like when Trump ended DACA, tried to end DACA his first term. DACA was never voted on by the Congress. It was an executive order. And anything started by executive order should be able to be stopped by executive order, unless it went through Congress later on and was voted on, like some of this stuff has been. What is it? The education group. It was started by an executive order, but then it was later done by Congress. So Trump's doing what he can. And then they're bringing it up in Congress to dismantle it. Which, considering how test scores and everything is, that's a good thing. But anyway, got a little bit off subject here. But it's not just these liberal groups aren't just going, the ones that are being organized by Schumers. There's other ones out there also. And the Democrats are having their own problems. This is an article off of Politico. Dems expected to skewer GOP cuts at town halls. Instead, they faced angry constituents. Congressional Democrats who are hoping to blast Republicans over budget cuts instead took incoming from their exasperated constituents when they traveled home. In Arizona, Senators Ruben Gallego and Mark Kelly were confronted at a joint forum by attendees demanding to know if they would support removing Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. In Oregon, an audience member told Ron Wyden and Janelle Bynum that he is so pissed off right now at the leadership of the United States Senate, they are not willing to step up and fight. Schumer's done what I think is the most destructive thing he could possibly do as a Democratic leader, another cried to Peter Welch of Vermont. And those were mild compared to the scene that played out in Washington where Glenn Ivey held a town hall. You're not fighting, one woman shouted from the balcony before being escorted out. We're suffering. The thing I'm seeing here with this, again, the Democratic Party have for so long followed the mob of the far left, the most extreme supporters, that when they try to do anything in a what I would consider sensible, they get trouble. The Democrats are wondering where their 2017 era grassroots resistance army is gone. They found their answer. Schumer's willingness to vote with the Republicans to advance a spending bill and avoid a shutdown has enraged Democrats faithful not just in Washington but across the nation, and the blast radius is spreading throughout the party far from Schumer. Now, the thing is this continuing resolution that they signed, there weren't any real cuts in there because it continued the spending bills that were already in place. A lot of people had a problem with the fact that it continued it through September, which is the last month of the current fiscal year for the government. October 1st starts the new fiscal year. When I was in active duty, my last couple of years in the service, I oversaw the squadron budget. And the month of September played hell. I would be in at work at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning. I already drank a couple cups of coffee at the house before I left. And I'd turn on the 60-cup pot of coffee at work. And I wouldn't leave until 5, 6, 7 o'clock that night. And I drank all of or most of that 60-cup coffee maker by myself that day. The month of September for anything dealing with budgets plays hell. I haven't looked at Doge in the past couple of days' data for the simple fact I've not been feeling good. And that's why I didn't even stream on Friday, the Fun Day stream, because I was laid up. I was in no shape to do anything. All you would have heard out of me was a blathering idiocy, because I was not in good shape. Okay, give me just a moment here. We're going to talk as I go across the room to set up my other needle, because as usual, this is Monday. It's infusion day, so I got to get the other syringe pumped into me. I actually was able to start these early again this morning. As soon as the wife got out of the shower, I was able to jump in and get my shower and get set up to do this infusion. Only got 3 more bottles to go. Come on, fill up. Anyway, but like I said, no, I didn't do much last week as far as looking at Doge or anything, because I was just not in the condition to do anything with it. And actually, I never left the house all week except for doctor's appointments and to pick my wife up at the airport. And I, picked her up Saturday afternoon. And yes, I did meet her at the airport with flowers. And I had more women walking by. I had a bouquet of flowers for my wife. And I had more women walking by like, oh, somebody gave me flowers. Why don't men? You're going to go meet your honey, your sweetheart, your love at the airport. I don't care how old you are. Why aren't you meeting them with flowers? Why? Why do you not meet your sweetheart with flowers? I don't understand. And women out there, how do you feel? You come home, you've been gone, even if you've only been gone a week, and your husband, your boyfriend, your significant other sitting there waiting on you, and they don't have flowers. How do you not? How do y'all feel about that? I don't understand. Now when the wife would meet me when I'd been gone, after I was dealing with deaths in the family, and I would come home. Now my wife met me with flowers, and I'm telling you that made me feel good. I mean, besides the fact I was very happy to see her again because I'd been gone for 2 or 3 weeks. But the fact that she just took the time to stop by a florist or someplace to, even if it was stopping in at Publix or a Walmart and bought a little thing of flowers, that made me feel good to see that she did that for me. Oh, what's that data? He found a dozen money machines peppered across a few departments. They were not connected to anything, but all they did was send endless stream of payments. Ah, I'm gonna have to look into that. But anyway, back to this. If you're Chuck Schumer, you're wondering why aren't you screaming at Trump? Why aren't you angry at the Republicans? We could ride that anger in 2 years, take back the House and Senate, but most Democrats worry that we can't wait for 2 years. What do you mean you can't wait for 2 years? Are you talking about an insurrection there, Tom Milanowski? Are you talking about an insurrection and forcibly taking over the House and Senate? Is that what you're talking about there? That's interesting that you should be doing that. See, the Democrats here, they're violent people. They really and truly are. Remember how back during the Obama era, we had the Tea Party? That actually, when they protested somewhere, they actually left the place cleaner than what it was when they got there. How many times have we seen pictures and videos when the Democrats and the leftists protest at not the White House, but Congress? And they basically, trash is everywhere. And it takes days to clean up, pick up after them. But you don't, the media never goes crazy over that. But remember how they went nuts over the protester, over the Tea Party guys? To the point that they actually used the IRS to attack them. What was that woman's name? Phyllis something or another? That admitted that the paperwork, any paperwork coming across her desk for a Tea Party group, she gave it her special attention so that they couldn't legally form as a tax exempt organization. You here we go. This is Politico, and they're labeling these groups sent out by Schumer as grassroots groups. They're not grassroots groups. They were organized. They were shipped in by Schumer and crew. So, but yeah, I mean, we've got the problems out here, and like I said earlier, the insurrection plan was tested in Brazil before. Yeah, yeah, it was also tested in Michigan. Because remember, the FBI agents that were in charge there at Michigan with the so-called attempted kidnapping of Gretchen were all transferred to D.C. in time to set that up. Let's see what else here. And the hatred for Elon, and this is something that gets me. I don't want to get rid of that video yet. Josh Hawley can go. I can close that one. But the hatred for Elon, remember a couple years ago, you got the liberals loved Elon because of Tesla. They loved Tesla because, going to save the planet. And Senator Mark Kelly, who's the only reason why he's in the Senate now. The only reason why he's in the Senate is because, he's the husband of the senator that got shot in the head. And they tried to blame it on the Republicans, for targeting, for using the word, or putting the bullseye on the different districts that they were hoping to take over. And just that was enough to cause that crazy man, that lunatic, to attempt to kill the woman. So, he got the sympathy vote, and now he's been sitting. Anyway, he had a Tesla, and he proudly showed that he got rid of it and bought a big old SUV, big old vehicle, get 16 miles to the gallon. He proud He doesn't care about the environment no more. He getting taking care of the environment, being a proud owner, being an owner of a electric vehicle no longer mattered because it was a Tesla, and Elon Musk is the head of Tesla. And Elon is so evil that you can't own a vehicle that is supposed to save the planet because it doesn't kick out any carbon. It doesn't use fossil fuels. So he's going to buy that big old gas guzzler to get 16 miles to the gallon. My 2012 Dodge Ram pickup truck gets 19 miles to the gallon. Every now and again, I can squeeze it out to 20. On most trips, I can get 19. Sometimes it drops down as low as 15, but usually I get around 19 miles to the gallon. So, yeah, the pure hypocrisy. But anyway, Teslas are so hated that, people are setting fire to the Tesla showrooms, setting vehicles on fire, setting charging stations on fire, keying vehicles. And the thing is, though, is if you key a Tesla, most of them have got cameras. And these cameras do silly things. Like even when nobody is there. You see this old boy's got this nice jacket on. It says USA down the sleeve. He gets out his car, and now he really hates Elon. And he hates Republicans. See, he's got that big USA down the sleeve. There he goes, key in hand.
The secret: Florida homeowners must
Key in hand and keys the vehicle. Well, his problem turned out to be, though, that camera catching him caught his vehicle, caught his everything else. He is now in jail. Well, I don't think he's in jail now, but
the other day?
What?
You did. You keyed a Tesla in a parking lot somewhere around here.
let me back this up. See, there he is, that USA down his sleeve. There's the jacket that he was wearing. Ah,
Did you just key a Tesla the other day?
What?
You did. You keyed a Tesla in a parking lot somewhere around here. What do you got to say about that?
I didn't do that.
Well, you're on video. I plainly saw you doing it. You pulled up right next to it and then you keyed it.
see, there he is.
Let him do
I
it.
mean, what do you have to say? I mean, I saw you do it. I'm just curious. I mean, just because of Elon, you're wearing a USA T-shirt, driving a Korean car. Why would you key an American car? The guy's probably a Democrat that owns it. I think it's a woman. I mean, I'm just curious why you do that. You just don't have anything to say about that? Neither one of you guys do? Nope. Okay.
Busted. I don't do that many highway trips there, Data. Most of my driving is under, is that 45 miles or under? Okay. So, mostly in town. Now, like when I took my wife, the trip out to the airport, I got like a 5 mile stretch where I do, where you can do 60 or 65 miles an hour. Got maybe a 5 mile stretch. But beyond that, it's all 45 and below. There's one stretch where it's 25 mile an hour, which I cannot understand why is 25 mile an hour, but it is. And they've got those big old radar detector units right there. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have uh, cameras set up to automatically issue speeding tickets. So, well, my 2012, I tell you what, I'm taking it. I was supposed to take it in the shop last week, but I'm going to try to get it in next week. Uh, Oil change, and it's starting to pull to the left a bit. And I want the AC checked because doesn't seem to be getting cold like it should be. And we got summer coming up here in Florida, and one thing you don't want to do is have an AC that's not working properly in Florida. I drove a pickup truck for a few years that didn't have any AC at all. It was a 2x60, well, 2x45, two windows down, 45 miles an hour. Now, one thing I did not know about Tesla vehicles is you can set them up to communicate with your cell phone. And when you get close enough to it with your cell phone turned on and this pairing done, it'll automatically open the driver's side door for you. And I don't have the video, I saw it. But there's a video out there of a guy driving out in another car, driving past his Tesla. And the car door on the Tesla popped open and it scratched up both vehicles, scratched up the paint on the door on his Tesla and on the vehicle he was driving. So let's see what else. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, here's a video of another jerk. Guys, don't key Teslas. Those cameras they got built into them will catch you keying it. This old boy wearing pajamas and flip-flops. Yeah. He's getting what he deserves. He will get what he deserves because that keying of vehicles is not a smart thing. Snow White has plummeted at the post office. At the box office, it has been an absolute failure. And all I can say is boo hoo. I could care less. Um, I read a report by one guy that come. Oh yeah, I know that data, but I read a report guy that by somebody that actually went and saw the movie, and they said that they named her Snow White because she was born during a snowstorm. Had nothing to do with their skin being white as snow. So yeah, wonder. My wife was watching not The Voice. Uh, what's that other one? Talent show that's got they award tickets to going out to Las Vegas. Let's see, you got The Voice, you got America's Got Talent, then you have this other one. I have no idea what the hell the name of it is. But anyway, the wife was watching it last night, and I really wasn't paying attention to it. Then I looked up and saw a woman bashing a pickup truck. I'm like, what the hell are you watching? And it was a woman singing this song about getting even with her boyfriend by going out and taking a baseball bat to his pickup truck. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. How is this a legitimate song? That's, you know, you're mad at your boyfriend, you're mad at your husband, they've done something you don't like, and you go out and take a baseball bat to their car? What kind of nonsense is that? Then this is being out there on television. Everybody and their brother's watching it. And then, they got, it's like the Dixie Chicks with their song about Earl, taking him out, cutting him up, and burying him. These songs, especially country music, singing songs about women mutilating men, beating up men, beating up their boyfriends, destroying their property. It's not a good thing. And honestly, now there may be one or two out there, but I can't think of any songs that ever made it popular about beating up on your wife or girlfriend or destroying your wife or girlfriend's property. And that's where some of these women, and then, well, I mean, some of these women now for years, because you can see it in movies going back, God, back to the 40s, possibly even back, maybe even far back as the 30s, because I'm trying to remember how old one of the movies were I've seen were women slapping men. That always seemed to be the go-to. A woman slapping a man across the face or punching him in the gut. Hey, Neil. Neil, I pay no attention to her or her songs. I don't know what, I've heard a lot of her songs are about past boyfriends. The always joke, if you want a song written about you, just date Taylor Swift, then break up with her. But I've never paid attention to any of her songs. Leastwise, not since she's. I mean, when she first come out in the country field, so they play her videos, and some of them were kind of cute. Oh, rage rooms, yeah. Now, see, that's different than having a rage room. But to have uh, a song about your boyfriend, you're mad at your boyfriend for some reason, even if he cheated on you, but that, you know, you go out and take a baseball bat to their car. And if you look on YouTube, you'll find videos of women doing that, destroying their car, destroying their boyfriend's cars or ex-boyfriend's cars. When I say destroy, I'm talking about taking baseball bats to them, spray painting them, whatever. There's one I just saw. Ex-girlfriend come up to this guy. He's sitting there eating a plate of shrimp and something else, shrimp and crackers and some sort of a dip. And he comes walking out of the restaurant with this paper plate with this stuff on it. And his ex-girlfriend comes to take a swing at him. And she goes over and picks up a can of spray paint and starts spray painting his car. Then baseball bat smashing it, and the woman that's with him asks him about it, and he goes, because he's just standing there looking at it, and he goes, she'll be arrested and the insurance will cover it. And he's just sitting there eating, just staying there eating away. Praying for You by Joran and the Long Road of Love. I have no clue who Joran is. Joran. I have no clue who that is. I'm just tired of seeing the oh man, what's it? Watch It or something like that. It's a long form podcast. One or two guys standing there talking to a bunch of women, and I saw a short bite this morning, and they asked about, is it ever proper for a man to hit a woman? And of course, oh no, it's never right. Men are stronger than women, yada yada yada. And they said, okay, well then, how about a woman hitting a man? Is that ever right? And all but one or two of the women there said yes, because a woman cannot hit as hard as a man. Therefore, she can't hurt him like he can hurt her. And one of the males that were on the panel said, wait a minute. So what you're saying is a man is supposed to sit there, keep his emotions in check, not get angry, but a woman can let her emotions run wild, get angry, and assault people without retribution. A man cannot hit a woman back. And the women stood there, or sat there rather, just nodding their head like, yeah. That's the podcast, whatever, Neil. That was the one I was talking about. They did a short on YouTube this morning. I was making some toast. Oh man, this weekend I finally got feeling. Like I said, I had to pick up the wife at the airport Monday, and I figured I'd surprise her. And I baked some bread that um, my go-to bread that I love to bake because I rarely have a problem with it. I figured I'd make some soda bread because I haven't made soda bread in years. That was the absolute worst soda bread I'd ever made. I don't know what in the hell I did wrong, but it was so damn dry. You could take a small bite of it, a half inch on a side, and it would suck all the moisture out of your mouth. It was drier than any cornbread. But it was a whatever podcast that short that I watched this morning that had that on there. And it was the guy that was being streamed in. Hey, afternoon, Fury. Yeah, I've got very nice female security guards. I'll happily educate the ever-loving women that think can get away with that. I've hit a few women in my life. I'm not going to deny it. I had one that come at me with a pair of sewing shears, not scissors, but shears, and I popped her a good one. As far as that, them shears could disembowel you in a heartbeat. Um, I popped this when I was in junior high. I popped a girl on the bus that hit me across the head with some books, and I popped her in the jaw. Well, don't hit me if you don't want hit. That's all there is to it. I think that's it for hitting women. Because I'm pretty much of the mind, you don't have to hit, you don't hit somebody unless they're swinging at you. You strained one at the broken bottle after and you were brought up on charges? Wow. One of the things I want to bring up this week, if I can get my act together, there's all these judges. I mentioned earlier these judges who are attempting to these judges overruling or telling Trump he can't do what he's doing, like trans in the military, deporting people, et cetera, deporting illegals. And if I want to do a good piece on that because these judges are starting to get, and it's always, and a lot of them are judges appointed by Obama. There's been a couple that were appointed by Biden. I I think they, if I remember right, one was appointed by Trump himself, even. But some of these judges are, they're benefiting. They or their wives or other family members benefit from whatever from the judge's ruling. Let's see here. Why is my phone flashing red? Okay. Just got a weather alert for tornadoes. Really? I'm under a tornado watch or tornado warning? You've got to be kidding me. Too broken, too mean, or too. That's absolutely ridiculous. The weather looks like it's pretty nice out there, to be honest. I don't care about that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it here because now I'm just trying to find something to talk about at this point. "31-year-old Indiana teacher accused of sexually molesting her students, including an instance where she forced 3 underage boys to have sex with her while wearing scream masks." Wow. And the thing is, this woman's not bad looking. She reminds me of a teacher I had when I was in 7th and 8th grade. Had her for both years. Wow. But she liked having sex with her students. Cool beans. I hope they bury her under the prison. I hope they bury her. Life times 3 to run concurrently or consecutively, not concurrently. Anyway, let's see. I'm going. Okay, I've got a 7 o'clock doctor's appointment tomorrow morning, but that's usually over with really quick. Hopefully I'll be home by 8:30ish, so I'll still be able to do a stream tomorrow. Wednesday morning, there will not be a stream on Wednesday again, as usual, because I work Tuesday night. So Thursday, same thing. I'll be 7 o'clock doctor's appointment, but those are short. So yeah, we're good to go. Be able to stream every day this week except Wednesday. So we'll be back tomorrow. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Be with the ones you love the ones that you're with, and have a good one.